Hello, welcome back to the channel. So I decided to start a sketch vlog or an art vlog or a struggle during the week trying to accomplish my art projects vlog. I think a lot of us who work and do art at the same time are struggling to accomplish everything we want to, so maybe this will help others in a similar situation, or at least we can commiserate in the lack of time together. So I'm just going to be documenting what I did this week, what I was or wasn't successful in with my art projects, and so forth. So before I start on the big project I have planned for today, I decided to do some sketch portraits to help me loosen up. These are fast and loose, and I'm just trying to enjoy myself in the moment. So I don't think I captured this person's likeness so well, so if you can guess who it is, please leave it in the comments. It's pretty obscure. So as for today's big project that I mentioned, I am participating in a Do This in Your Style on Instagram. The artist who prompted this Do This in Your Style is DTIYS. She is a French portrait artist and teacher. And she always has these cool demon girls that she posts on her page. And this time she invited everybody to take one of her characters as pictured here and do this in their own style. So I was drawn to this character's position as a spirit guardian, though I wanted to take it in a more ominous or ambiguous route. I finally finished watching the series Yellow Jackets, if you've ever heard of it. A lot of mysticism and odd stuff going in the woods in that series kind of linked to this character in my brain, so I'm going to look at some stills from the television series to get a idea of where I want to take this. Just like this DTIYS character, there is an infamous antler queen in the Yellow Jacket series as well, so you'll see me here taking some inspiration from that. To be honest, the deadline is the 15th, coming up in a couple days, so I'm really under crunch time and need to get this out before I miss the Do This in Your Style deadline. Uh-oh. So with that, my day was concluded, but not before a booty shaking workout. So today's my second day of trying to record this vlog, this sketch vlog. So I'm really feeling the crunch time, so I rush into the Do This in Your Style project that I'm working on. At this point, I know that what's lacking right now is the contrast to make the character really pop out. So what I had to do was bring it into Photoshop. The reason being, Procreate doesn't have its own flatten image option, unfortunately. If you try to combine all the layers, it'll take on the adjustment settings of whatever's on top. So an overlay, it'll just become a whole layer of overlay or what have you. So what I did was exported this image, what I have so far, as a Photoshop file, sent that to my computer and just did a level adjustment so that I could bring out the contrast more at this point and draw over it. If anyone has a better way of doing this, a better workaround in Procreate, you could please let me know. After that, it's just more refining things. Because I was on a kind of a tight deadline to get this done by this Friday, I kind of just had to jump into it and experiment a lot. So today was a lot of just refining things like the face, the proportion of the horns. I figured out after mirroring it that one of her breasts was very lopsided, and I fixed that. So I think I'm in a good place right now, but I think there's still some room for improvement, as well as additions to the background, which is very kind of bare bones right now. I'm thinking of adding a moon looming over her. Kind of brings me to my other project I'm working on, the Majora's Mask one. I feel like the time is closing in, the moon is about to fall down to earth, and I just have to get this piece over with. So today I came home with the determination to finish this, do this in your style. I decided for sure that I wanted that moon looming over, and I also decided to add some will-o-wisps in the background. Maybe she's guiding these little spirits around the forest, just to give it a little bit more interest than a plain background. So I positioned the moon so that they would sit next to the horns and kind of guide the eye that way. Once I was happy with the positioning of the moon, I started to add some stars to the background to give it a eerie yet beautiful starry night vibe. And then I add the will-o'-the-wisps. These were done super loosely based on some of the references I had earlier scouted out. I also added a chromatic aberration to them to make them to give them some movement and infuse a certain mystical or spiritual quality to them, which I think worked out pretty well. But the background was still kind of bare bones, so I decided to try to add some trees, or at least the suggestion of trees, to the background to make it more cohesive. I copied the shape of the tendrils of her hair cascading down her form and flipped it to mirror it in the trees, the shapes of the trees. This not only saved me time thinking of new ways to create shapes for the trees, but also makes the image more cohesive as a whole, I feel. And with some finishing touches, including a little bit of mist surrounding her, I finally am done with this in time for the deadline. With the piece finally completed, all there is to do is hope someone out there will appreciate my entry. Finally, to round out this week, I really wanted to make progress on my Majora's Mask fan art. What I often do with my personal projects is get there inch by inch while I'm taking commissions or doing do this in your styles or anything else marketing related. These personal projects often take a backseat, which is unfortunate, but it's always something I can look forward to on the weekends after a hectic week. What you'll see here is that I have quite a bit of it already accomplished, so it is now a matter of going in with all of the fine details and hammering it out. Today I was in an interesting mood, so I wanted to finish up the face of the Happy Mask salesman. Of course, I wanted to give him a creepy atmosphere, so I tried to make his face look a bit underlit, which is always a good lighting scenario to make a character appear creepy or ominous. And I think it turned out pretty well. Once I was done with that, I just moved around the canvas to inch away at things here and there that needs to get done. I also went in to refine the business Deku scrub after looking up some references of him on my cell phone. Ditto for the mailman. Finally, to end this day of drawing, I tried to tackle the face of the moon. This is really important to nail as it's kind of the reason or cause of the chaos and the uneasy atmosphere of the whole painting. I followed closely the original face expression. I don't think there's anything that could top that, so I didn't even bother to try. I just tried to replicate the face of the moon from Majora's Mask. And now I am trying to tackle the eyes. The interesting thing about this face is, with just a little tweak here and there, the expression can look anywhere from angry to sad to pained. And I think it's gonna take some more refining before I find what I think works for this piece.